Going live. 4, 3. One moment. Setting up your meeting na.
And we're live.
Live.
Hi.
Hello, everybody, and good evening, and welcome to the Qrown Conversations. My name is Alexa Villano. Tonight's guest is actually somebody that I'm very good friends with. But before that, she has accomplished a lot in the past years since after relinquishing her crown as Binibining Pilipinas Grand International 2016 and Miss Grand International first runner-up 2016. Who am I talking about? No less, ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome Miss Nicole Cordoves. Hello, Madam. Good evening. So,
Hi.
Madam talaga, no? No, but seriously, it's been like a few months since you guested here, but people are probably wondering and asking, what have you been doing since after the last guesting with the Qrown?
Wow, a lot actually. It didn't look like much then kasi di ba parang at that time, ang dami nating parang we're still stuck on the goals we set for ourselves before the pandemic. So ang hirap mag-get over noon. I felt like I was really in the dark pa. Pero paunti-unti, ayun, I'm almost done with my master's degree. Because of the pandemic, nakaka-full load ako ng subjects per semester. So I think I have like 2 more sems to go na lang. Tapos may thesis pa. So we'll see how that goes. And then I also got back to one of my passions, which is working for the government. I'm writing again. So yeah, that's like a silver lining, sabi ni Kat, na lumabas out of the pandemic. Na funnily enough, before kasi the pandemic, I was thinking na ang sarap bumalik sa gobyerno. Yung gano'n, gusto ko mag-work ulit to serve. So, ayun, na-answer tuloy yung prayers. Masyado namang literal din si Lord. So yeah, I'm enjoying what I'm doing now.
Okay. Now, for those who for those who don't know, before in 2016 or before she joined Binibini, actually Nicole was working for the government as well. She was a speechwriter. But let's go on to what's happening. The last time, girl, na nag-uusap tayo, I interviewed you. We were talking about life peg. But let's talk about now knowing your purpose after pageantry first. Kasi nag-hosting ka, naghurado ka, nagsusulat ka. From the conversation we had before, nasagot na ba halos yung mga tinatanong ko sa iyo before regarding about life after pageantry?
Yeah, definitely. Like, na-realize ko na sa comms talaga, like communication talaga yung path ko. And in whatever form it may be, linilundag ko yun ngayon. Like, whatever opportunity comes in that's in line with communication, go ako kahit na I have zero experience from it before. Parang feeling ko this pandemic also gave me the courage to start again, the humility to learn new things and not be immediately good at it. Ganon. So feeling ko mas lumawak yung mga opportunities na dumating also. And yeah, I won't say din naman, I think all the time naman sa life mo, meron kang mga uncertainties. Hindi yan maiiwasan. Lalo na when things like this happen, di ba? Pero stick to your core pa rin, whatever happens. Not necessarily like kung ano yung magiging job mo. Parang I feel like parang na-realize ko lang lately na it's really like your character and your values yung pinaka kailangan mong maging consistent with. Kasi then the opportunities will come and follow. And then the most wonderful thing about it is aligned siya sa gusto mo.
Okay. Girl, let's talk about hosting a little bit more kasi obviously live events have been, live events was the one of the affected
Died.
in
It
the
died, yeah.
well, actually it was one of the most, if na talaga natamaan. Actually, the whole entertainment industry was a big blow. But since
Yeah.
ang daming transition to technology, sa'yo, how has it been? Kasi hosting online or doing mentoring or teaching in between online.
I actually don't do hosting and mentoring online now. Although I have may upcoming talk ako online. Usually ganon. Although hosting matumal talaga. Feeling ko it's the hardest hit. Pero I learned to stick to practicality also. Like I can't be immobile. So tuloy pa rin ng tuloy. Like whatever opportunity comes my way, walang aayawan, ganon. And then also parang I needed to strengthen my social media presence also, like in terms of creating content. Before kasi parang very straightforward. Ngayon ang dami ko natututunan. I even got to really build my YouTube channel, and if you guys haven't subscribed to it yet, go there lang, Nicole Cordoves, and subscribe. So that's something I learned to build. Like I learned how to edit my videos and then really figure out what kind of content yung magugustuhan ng audience. Pero at the same time, trying other stuff also na baka kumagat. Alam mo yun? Let's see. So yeah, it took a lot of work. It takes a lot of work to build your online presence. Until now, I'm still learning. Pero yeah.
Now, let's talk about the YouTube channel, because obviously a lot of people, and girl, from a few thousands, ang dami na pala. Dumadami na ang followers.
Hey!
Now, obviously, the YouTube channel is focused really about yourself and about, your experiences in pageantry. But in the past few months then, what type of content were you able to parang what were the types of content that the viewers were kept asking you? Because I know obviously pageantry is one of them, but what were the other things that they were asking? Can you do this? Can you do that? On you?
Well, definitely it's always like communication tips and public speaking na tips. Yun naman parate. The two of those. I don't usually do yung mga prank videos. I think I'm so bad at it. So I never tried that. So yeah, pretty much yon. And then a lot of reviews pa rin on pageantry. Alam ko medyo nauhaw din ang pageant fans for content like that. And ang hirap kasi syempre wala naman talagang nangyayari. And it was still quite impossible to stage a pageant. Parang paano, di ba? But now I guess like as we're learning how yung virus is communicable to each other, di ba? And how we can protect ourselves from it para, ayun, naka-stage yung Miss Grand pa ng pageant. So, with the proper safety regulations, of course. So, yeah. It's always pageant reviews, definitely.
Okay. Na-mention mo na rin naman, MGI. Girl, as a member of the family, what was your initial reaction when they were finally saying, okay, we're pushing through with MGI. It's happening in March. It's happening in Thailand. How did you feel about it? Because they're the first competition that's actually going to go live and actually it's the first quarter of 2021 to be exact.
Yeah. I wasn't surprised kasi working with the Miss Grand International family, kahit na konti lang sila na staff and organizers there, they really get the job done. And wala kang mako-complain na it's disorganized or hindi ka naalagaan. So, well, in my experience, at least. So, I can't speak for the other candidates we sent there. Yeah, pero lagi silang never nahulas yung staging nila, yung production. Parang it always gets bigger and bigger each year. It's always so happy and sobrang glossy, as they would call it. So, if anyone can stage nga that a pageant in a pandemic, sila yun. And given na, I don't know kung kamusta yung cases sa Thailand, pero I think they're very progressive eh. So,
Right. All right, girl. While I'll take a short break from here because I'm bringing in Christian to ask his questions. This is a segment wherein we exchange, na nag-exchange kaming dalawa. So, Christian, take it away and ask the questions.
Thank you, Alexa. And hi,
Hey,
Nicole, again.
Christian. Hello again.
Thank you for gracing the crown with this interview. Um,
Sure.
ang pinaka excited, I mean, your fans are excited to know again and recall about the hosting stint that you did in MGI, like in
Mm,
2017 with CN.
yeah.
So, well, everyone's very impressed because you must have done really great, and or with the organization for them to consider you, and host in getting you to host the pageant the following year that you participated in the pageant. Can you tell us more about that?
Actually, Christian, I would like to thank you first for bringing that up kasi
Mm-mm.
parang that time, wala pa akong YouTube channel to talk about it. Alam mo yun, wala pa akong masyadong outlet and we didn't have these online interviews yet. Like, it wasn't so widely used in the pageant community, I think, nung 2016,
Mm-mm.
2017, unlike today. So, parang feeling ko nag-relish ako sa throwback ko right now. And ang dami kasing nagtatag ng mga throwback recently of yung mga performance videos namin. So, na-feel ko rin yung kilig. Feeling ko, sinasend off din ako. Hindi lang si Samber, ganon. So, yeah, going back to yung hosting stint ko sa Miss Grand, I was actually really surprised kasi one, I never expected it. Yung alam mo yung parang, I think you should let me host it, yung ganon. And
Mm-mm.
I never asked for it. So for Mr. Nawat na sobrang alam mo naman kung gaano niya kaalaga yung production ng pageant niya, I would think na he's super particular with every element there. Tapos he trusted me enough considering na hindi pa ako winner. And then yung co-host ko pa nun sa preliminary, si Liz Garcia was the winner nung 2014, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So that was like a huge honor talaga. And kakaiba talaga yung experience. I never thought na I would ever be able to host like an international show. So, nung time na, ever since actually yung pageantry ko, in relation also to Alexa's question, it felt like heaven to me. Kasi it's
Mm-mm.
like yung opportunities came one after the other. And then ito pa yung mga opportunities na yung tipong akala ko, kailangan gapangin mo pa sobra. Like, 5 years before I build my credibility. Kasi syempre, usually pageant girls, baguhan kami, binatulong kami bigla sa spotlight, alam mo yon. So, for people to have trusted me to host their shows since then, di ba? Tapos, after MGI, naging binibini pa. So, it was really surreal for me. Minsan nga iniisip ko, end of the world na ba, Lord? Kasi ba't binibigay mo lahat? Di ba? Pero it's really different talaga to have yung career mo, yun din yung passion mo. So, ang sarap na experience na yun talaga. Pero, I worked hard for that as well. In terms of siguro, like, excuse you, bless you. May nag-achieve. I worked hard for that as well in terms of I showed Miss Grand na I'm there to work. Na yung professionalism ba, I really built that with them, I feel. During my reign, 'di ba? Kahit na hindi ako yung winner that year, when they call me to give me a job or ask me to do something, I'm there on time, 'di ba? And I'm gonna do it
Mm-mm.
right. And then, kasi pwede naman mag-inarte ka, 'di ba? Wala naman kung wala to sa kontrata natin. Yung mga ganong bagay. Pero like,
Yeah.
hindi, go ka lang ng go. You know what you signed up for. Alam mo, pinasukan mo. Kahit na hindi yan nakaspecify sa contract, you're bound to them and you're committed to them. So you have to go over and beyond what was the privilege given to you. So yeah.
Your gown was stunning during the hosting, and then you did something to your hair as well. So you must have prepared really very well for that hosting stint.
Yeah, oo. Si Mamang Brent Salis wanted me to debut a new look. So sabi niya, syempre para the usual sa mga beauty queens na after ng pageant journey mo, dapat medyo anti-pageant ka na. Antithesis ng, di ba, big hair, ganun, para makita na medyo nagka-transition ka. Yeah, so those are fun times kasi you really have to think of your makeovers. Parang very girly time lang talaga siya. So, yeah.
Great job, Nicole. And you made us proud once again during that.
Thank you.
Event.
Thank you so much.
So having been in, both sides of the camera, being the candidate yourself, and then you also hosted, and then you were also a jurado for a pageant locally, diba, in Showtime. What do you think is the most difficult beauty pageant question to answer?
Dami. Sobrang dami. But I always love the questions of yung Miss Universe from before. Kasi naaral namin yan when we were training for Binibini pa lang. So yung mga profound, like simple but profound questions like, what makes you blush? Di ba parang ang simple-simple niya? Pero at that moment, for 30 seconds, parang, ano ba, edi kung napamura ako bigla, tapos naka-on pa pala yung mic, yung mga very raw na naisip mo. Pero syempre, hindi mo naman masasabi. So, and also like, yung hindi ko rin masagot is, ano ba yun? Like, if you were given one superpower for a day, yung mga ganun, or if you can do one thing na legal for one day. I mean, illegal thing that you can do legally for a day. Ano yun? Parang yun yung mga medyo, hindi ko kasi personality yung maging sobrang spontaneous, hindi ako pasaway, such a stickler for rules. So parang maririnig ko pa lang yung question na yun, natatakot na ako. Like, oh my God, what are the consequences? Ganun. So yun yung mga mas hard and trivial for me. Kaya mas gusto ko talaga yung mga questions about politics. Kaya kilig din ako na Miss Grand yung napunta sa akin that time. Kasi may speech na nga, may Q&A pa ako. Parang, rar. Sige na. Ano yung mic?
Correct. Yeah, I asked because you're considered to be one of the go-to persons na in terms of the Q&A, no? Kasi syempre, kaya the fans are asking, may mahirap na question pa ba kay Miss Nicole?
Yes.
Yung mga ganong bagay. So that's why we asked the question. And then, Nicole, we also saw your episode with Sam B, no? In your channel. It was
thank you for
great.
watching.
Yeah, so what do you think should Sam Bernardo do differently so she can bag the crown from NGX?
Do differently from the skill set she has now, or do differently from the past queens?
Both, let's say.
Both? Siguro feeling ko, actually hindi ko rin matimpla eh. Alam niyo naman kung gaano ka-volatile yung environment doon. Kaya nga, hindi ko rin sobrang mabuti na lang kinausap ni Sam lahat ng past queens para at least alam niya what to expect. I think we've been through a lot na rin and madami na tayong nabigay na advice sa kanya. Siguro kay Sam naman, like, based on her present skill set, it's more of yung communication na lang talaga. She's really good. When I talk to her, mas relaxed siya compared to yung mga previous na napanood kong content online na na-release sa kanya. Pero sabi ko lang sa kanya, like, can you study kasi pinanood ko pa rin yung send-off niya online. Sabi ko, can you study like rewatch it, yung send-off mo, tapos yung interview natin, tsaka kung may prior interview ka pa. Kasi sabi ko, para makita mo kung ano yung mga mannerisms mo, yung mga usual words na masyado mong na-repeat, or content even na nasabi mo na-rehash na lang ngayon, kasi sayang yung opportunity for interview na, syempre, parang palawakin mo naman storya mo sa next one because for sure it's already been picked up, yung previous interview mo. So, maximize mo every opportunity that's given to you to speak. So, yun yung pinaka-tip ko sa kanya for now. Pero, yung mga speeches, ganon, I'm waiting for her submission pa. It has to come from her eh. Even yun sa mga Q&A. Actually, yung first time na, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of you. Bigla na Q&A na tayo. Pero kasi, yun na yung yun yung area na pinaka-kailangan i-focus na lang ni Sam. We saw naman kasi na on point yung styling niya, pasarela niya, Diyos ko, lalampasuhin naman niya. Yung mga ibang mga stills niya doon, di ba? So, carry na yon. Anyway, so yung pag-upo ko pa lang with her right after the interview, sabi ko, eto yung deal when I mentor girls, I never give answers. Kasi it has to come from you. I'm gonna tell you lang how to build on it. I'm gonna tell you if it's bad. I'm gonna tell you if it's good. But I'm not gonna tell you what to say ever, because I have a passion for words. I have a big respect for words. You don't just give words as a script. Words carry value. So, lalo na ito, beauty queen ka, ambassadress ka. So, the value you have to project that value. Diba? And how can you project that value if it's not part of your core? So, yun yung deal ko with her. And at the same time, syempre, diba, the audience will fall in love and connect with you through your answer. So, ang pangit lang din ng feeling kasi na, alam mong parang script lang yun ng ibang tao and then ikaw yung nagsabi, di ba? Or baka hindi niya feel, pero ako pinilit ko na siya, ito dapat yung sagot dyan, ito yung tama dyan. Di ba? Tsaka para ma-dive into the creative process talaga siya, to think for herself kung paano nga yung the both sides of the issue, ganon. Kasi if I just say it, malilimit siya na, okay, ito lang pala yung tama. Mali pala kung ganito. Pero, di ba, there's no wrong answer because it's your opinion.
Correct. Right, nako, lalo kaming na-excite tuloy kasi you shared na you had super tips na you shared with Sam. So, there. Thank you, Nicole. And it's been a very insightful conversation with you. Alexa, I'm turning it back to you. Thank you.
Thanks, Christian.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Christian. Okay, girl. On the note of on the note of Q&A pa rin, a while ago, well, not a while ago, during actually your interview with Sam, nasabi mo na-quote ka to ng ilang beses na ang hiling mo mangbali ng mga sagot. I think it's time to expound on that when you say bakit ang hilig mo mangbali ng sagot.
Only because, okay, practically speaking, alam mo naman tayong mga pageant fans, napanood na natin ng ilang beses yung mga nasagot ng previous queens, na memorize na natin yan. And alam naman natin na ang daming pageant, hindi lang Miss Universe, Miss International, Miss World, ang daming pageant who ask basically the same questions but in a different wording lang, di ba? So, kailangan magbigay ka ng something new to the table or else you're gonna sound the same. And the fact kasi na you have to incorporate social issues and make sure your answers are relevant, diba? Kasi if it's not, parang it'll just be an old philosophy that belongs in the past. So you have to be able to affect people and para encourage them to take action. And how will you do that if you're stuck in the past, diba? So kailangan mong baliin para like maging relevant sa listeners mo.
Okay, I'm asking you that next because obviously as a mentor and as a former title holder yourself, and I'm sure it's not a secret naman that when a beauty queen or whether somebody in the entertainment industry actually speaks up on political issues, they get a lot of criticism for it. Parang the habit always is still, if you don't have to talk about it, you don't have to answer about it, but ikaw, as I said, and as a friend, we all know that you're not afraid to talk, but not afraid to say your piece. But I want to know from your part, how do you feel now that the queens or the title holders now are actually speaking up? Because they're not afraid anymore to answer something that is very polarizing, or it gets defensive.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back to the first part of your statement. Actually, yung sinabi mo na I'm not afraid to speak out about it. I am. Only because if you understand how politics really works, there's a time to listen and a time to speak. And the truth is there, but it has to be timely also when it is told and why it is said. Diba? So it's not parang it's not always a knee-jerk reaction or responsive na reaction. Lalo na ngayon na everything's online, parang um, it needs more intensive research, 'di ba? But I can't give my viewpoint on parang kung yung mga other girls who are speaking out about it because they have their own convictions. If they are courageous enough to speak about it, that's good. That's amazing actually. That's really bold because even ako natatakot pa rin ako, 'di ba? Especially in the current political environment. But it doesn't make you a coward either. 'Di ba? Only because yun nga, hindi naman kailangan awayin mo lahat ngayon. Di ba? Wars are not, wow, Miss Grand, wars. Wars are not won that way. Di ba? May timing yan lahat. May strategy, everything. Parang things have to happen in order. Things have to happen. Sa momentum na yun, okay, sabihin natin, and then victory. Di ba? Or maybe a defeat needs to, occur pa. So, you can never tell. So, I don't want to categorize girls na if you na beauty queens even na kung silent ka, it's cowardly. If you speak up, yes, it's courageous. Pero as long as yung person mismo really feels like they want to speak out about it and they were not forced and they were basta you're not forced. Yun lang yun. At the end of the day, it's because you care about this issue and you feel like you need to speak out about it.
Okay. No, so I will go to the second question. Well, the question that I wanted to really ask you is, as a mentor, how do you feel about how do you feel about competitions now asking polarizing and controversial questions? Because, as I said, it seems that, when that question is asked, kung ano man ang sasagutin ng girl can go positive or negative, and if it's not the right answer to some people, we still get criticized for it.
Yeah. Well, it's the prerogative kasi of the organization. Siguro more of it shouldn't be misused. It should be always because of asking it for the purpose of opening a conversation about it. Not because you want to sensationalize, romanticize, fetishize something or an issue, diba? It's because we need to talk about it now. This is urgent. And kailangan tumalaman ng mga viewers ng beauty pageant. Yung ganon. Not because, for the wrong reasons. Basically, that's it for me.
Okay. Now let's go back to MGI. And as I said earlier that MGI is actually the first competition, the first pageant that will be holding a live competition amidst a pandemic. Now, obviously, some of the girls have started arriving actually because of the 14-day mandatory quarantine. But next, I also want to ask you, because of the pandemic, as someone who has worked with the organization, as someone who has been in those shoes, what do you think should the org at least do to evolve? Because they're the first competition that people will be evolve or do well. What do you think they should do or evolve in terms of evolve? How will they evolve rather? Or evolve rather, considering they will be sort of the pattern for the post-pandemic if we can say the term already, because you're holding the competition live even with some restrictions.
You mean in terms of sa MGI lang?
MGI. But because MGI is like taking the step already. They're gonna do it live. They're actually doing the 14-day mandatory quarantine for the girls. But for you, how will their strategy sort of like be will be like a way for change once the pageant season resumes? Because obviously it's actually pageant season again here in the Philippines.
Yeah, well, I think they're doing what they're supposed to do now, meaning that they're, parang mas maganda pa nga COVID response nila kaysa sa atin. Char!
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true.
Hindi, kasi I've heard of yung mga statements ng friends ko din, sinashare nila sa akin kung paano yun sa countries nila, like for example, sa Singapore, ganon. And, they're, like, sinasabi nga nila, in this pandemic, we have to carefully balance the economy and health. And that's like the tipping point of it. So, at the same time, di ba, yun na nga, from the start of the pandemic pa lang, either magugutom ka daw or mamamatay ka sa COVID. Diba? Para ang saklap naman ng choices natin. So, yung countries who really took more progressive steps in response to the pandemic, parang they studied the virus more and kung paano ba natin mamimitigate, mamiminimise, ano yung mga regulations na sacrificial on their end. Diba? Parang it's no joke to go on quarantine for 14 days, di ba? Pero parang they had to, kailangan nilang buhayin yung hotel industry nila na sobrang wala mga turista, di ba? Na that makes up like a third of every country's economy at least. Di ba? So parang maganda yung mga paraan nila na kailangan nating, yung na-apply talaga nila yung new normal nila. So I feel like MGI was able to do that. Based on what I've seen lang, meron pa nga sila yung parang, di ba nakita ko yung may breaking news, ganito, ganyan, ito na yung mga nag-arrive. And they really share the safety regulations that they do or they make the candidates do, which is educating also yung mga other people, di ba? Na parang, okay, it's important pala to do this and we can do this and that pala. Maybe we can learn best practices from each other and apply it, di ba? Because our tourism industry is dying. Ang daming walang trabaho. We're 4 million na unemployed in the Philippines, if I'm not mistaken. And then, yeah, so, tapos naalala ko meron pa, like, before yung announcement na mag-push through yung pageant, meron pa silang parang kinolodge na video na in COVID, ganito, ito yung nangyari sa country, ito, ganito, ganyan. Yeah. So, ang ganda na approach ng material sila. Kaya nga gusto ko sobra yung org din ng MGI kasi kuha nila yung pulso ng kung ano yung nangyayari. They're not detached from what's actually happening around them and para silang, wait, nasa bubble ba kayo? Parang, pati namin naramdaman na may isang ganito, may isang ganyan. So, it's good that they get to incorporate that. But at the same time, yung feel good pa rin siya. We all need an escape din kasi, di ba?
Yeah.
And parang it's so nice to see girls na, uy, let's root for her dreams. At least siya, di ba? Parang umuusad yung dreams. Yeah, so go Samantha, go get that crown.
Okay. All right, speaking of Samantha, now let's shift naman forward to Binibining Pilipinas 2020-2021. We all know that you have you have mentored some of the girls already. Because it's in April, but I wanted to know from your two observations is one, since the time that you and Kat have mentored them last year, what changes or what some of the changes can you share that you've seen? And number two, what are you expecting to see from them once the competition is held in April?
For the second question, surprise us. Yun lang yun. I don't want to box them into whatever, especially since nakikita natin na ang daming palaban bigla in the quarantine. A lot of them are really making the most out of this dull period, di ba? Parang nagpa-photo shoot sila, ang daming transformation na nangyayari. So you see that they're parang nagko-continue pa rin sila to work towards their dreams, and it's so exciting to see that. So just keep doing what you're doing, girls, and don't be afraid to go outside the box and surprise everyone. Make a statement, make a huge impression. Okay, so ano yung the first question mo? The improvements.
The improvements.
Improvements nila based on yung monitoring. No, we're not monitoring it. Slightly lang.
Yeah.
Yung mentoring namin ni Kat sa kanila. Kasi communication intensive yung mentoring namin sa kanila because, they have their teams and glam teams to help them with everything else. So hands off na kami dun. It's really like fine-tuning their rhetoric. Kumbaga, they know how to speak. It's just that, what should we say? More of ganon. And how should we deliver it? So, a lot of girls, like if you watch a second episode of our Binibining Pilipinas workshops on my YouTube channel, meron kami yung Miss Most Improved. Kasi from the first submission ng videos ng girls na about, we asked them kasi, di ba, to like tell us about yourself, which is, I think, one of the harder questions also in pageantry. Kasi, di ba, how do you tell someone about yourselves in a minute? Diba? How do you
That's
summarize
true.
all that? And also
That's
like
true.
leave an impression. Diba? Minsan nga tanungin lang ako out of the blue na, oh, so what do you do? I'm like, ano nga ba ginagawa ko sa buhay ko? May existential crisis na ganun. So what more these girls, diba? Na kailangan maganda yung rundown mo of who you are kasi you're selling your brand to the org, diba?
Yeah.
Anyway, so yun yung first activity nila nun. And then we picked out yung mga best na nag-perform nun, yung best submissions in terms of content. We didn't care about the aesthetic of it kasi first and foremost, you can't really, kailangan matutunan talaga yung content. Hindi na dadala lahat sa aesthetics. And then also, we didn't want the girls to spend for yung mga video team kasi alam naman natin, give na give naman talaga tong mga girls. Let's give them credit for that. Anyway, so after noon, nagbigay kami ng comments namin. They submitted another video. And ang daming mas maganda, like ang laki ng improvement kasi in pageantry or in life in general, there's a person lang who needs to tell you how to do it right. Or, parang needs to tell you good criticism. And good thing is, most of these girls are in that place to accept good criticism. And we made sure we created that kind of environment for them. Na if we do say something negative, although we make sure na kung negative, it's still constructive. Alam mo, yung hindi siya parang, daot. Yung nang-oolay ka lang ng girls, mga ganon, di ba? So, more, kailangan, may reason for improvement. Hindi yung sabihin mo lang yung nega. So, feeling ko that really opened them up na we were telling them na hindi kami nag-expect na perfect kayo. Kahit kami, we had galing kami dyan. So at least now that we know this, we can teach it to you. So ever since noon, parang ang laki ng improvement talaga, leaps. Actually, ang hirap pa nga magpili ng Miss Most Improved doon kasi ang dami sa kanila nag-open up in such na parang, girl, ba't di mo to sinabi nung una? Sobrang, we wanna relish in who you are. We wanna enjoy your being, diba? So, I'm so glad they got to really be vulnerable, not in a dramatic way, but really in this kind of way na parang they just have this openness na I won't tell my story based on what I think people want to hear about me or what people think I should say, but story ko lang. Yun lang.
Some people have been asking actually how you and Kat will be extensively involved in their next few activities because I think it's already out in the news that Kat will be one of the hosts. But what about you? What else will you be contributing behind or on tap with the girls this time now?
I don't wanna disclose it just yet, just because as long as wala pang nakalatag talaga, or feeling ko kasi it's the org that has to announce first. I feel like that's the respectful way to go about it. It shouldn't come from anyone else na parang wala pang agreement talaga or whatever. So, yeah.
Okay.
Let's just save it for a later date, yung mga pasabog na yan. But, marami kayong ilo-look forward to, definitely. And I'm excited din doon. And since Kat is there, and if I'm there, diba, we're gonna really do everything to our best of our abilities.
Okay. I have one last question from you na because obviously Samantha is there now, she's fighting for the crown, but if you had your way from the past queens from Parul up to Sam, which of the personality, how would you describe the next Binibini who will probably compete for the title? What personality would you like from you that she has, from Parul that she should have? So it's like basically
So the best qualities of every queen that they should bring to MGI.
That is related to MGI. So example, for rules, walk, your speech skills, so on and so forth.
Okay. So Parul's everything. Kasi Parul's energy, her aura, and yung pakikisalamuhan niya sa tao, yun talaga yung tumatak sa mga organizers noon. And then, ako na pala after Parul, no?
Yeah.
Syempre, yung Fudako, yun, pabaon ko sa kanya. Parang fairy godmother, no? After me, it's Eva, right?
It's Liz.
It's Liz. Liz Clancy's walk. Okay. WHOLK, walk niya talaga. Sobrang flawless. And then, Eva's, yung pagka-photogenic ni Eva, grabe. Yung parang ring light queen siya, di ba? And then, Sam Lo ba next?
Yeah, Sam Lo, then Aya.
Sam Lo's.
Yeah.
Aya. Yung mga nag-compete na lang.
Yeah.
Sa MGI mismo. Oo.
Okay. Sam Lo's one.
So, si Sam Lo's determination.
Okay.
As in, I believed in that girl so much talaga kasi she's so determined to do everything. And she really works hard for it. And then, Sam Bernardo.
Yeah, Sam Bernardo.
Sam Bernardo's waist. Oh my gosh. Have you seen her waist? Ang liit, girl. Pero, yeah.
Ayan. Those who... Okay, ayan na meron ng clues or like, what if we wish to
pero
have
kung isasama natin si Aya, Aya's face and makeup look, oh my gosh. Ang snatch niya parate. So, isama natin siya sa mix.
Pero girl, dahil na-mention mo si Aya, I'm gonna ask you, if had Aya competed, would she have also done very well?
Yeah, probably. Oo, kasi performer si Aya, if I remember correctly, and talagang sobrang Filipino yung features niya. Her body is insane. So yeah, she would have been a really good representative also. Kaya nga, wala nga tapon di ba? Kahit sinong ipadala mo doon na runners-up natin sa kahit anong pageant. Game na game Confident ka kahit paano Walang kaba, ganun.
And with that, I wrap up this interview. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Nicole, for spending time with us. And guys, hope you're tuned into the next few episodes of the Qrown Conversation. But before that, Nicole, you may want to invite them for the YouTube channel again.
Yeah, if you're looking for pageant content, public speaking skills, and yung mga communication skills that you can apply in life in general, just go to my YouTube channel. It's Nicole Cordoves. So yeah, I'll see you there, and I'll be putting up more content in the coming weeks. Mas magiging active na ako dun, guys. Swear.
All right then, and guys, don't forget as pageant season resumes, let's be on watch for Binibining Pilipinas.
Yes!
And of which the competition will be held on April 17th. With that, good night, everybody.
Good night. Good night,
Thank
Alexa and
you.
Christian. Thank you so much for having me on your show. And ingat, everyone.
Take care, Nicole. Thanks, mga ka-Qrown.
Okay. Ayan, natapos na. Nag-stop na ako. Ay, hindi. Wait. Live,